Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, Maxine Waters and her Democrat posse are in really big trouble after these past couple of days. You see, Maxine Waters, on the eve of Derek Chauvin's case, decided that she was going to attend a protest. And while at this protest, not only did she violate the curfew that was in effect, thereby breaking the law, but she encouraged other protesters there to, well, be more confrontational and hit the streets more if a guilty verdict wasn't found, right? Well, the judge didn't like this too much, so he put out a statement saying that Maxine Waters may have just gotten Chauvin's case completely overturned. No joke. I've got so much stuff to show you about this woman because she has really been inciting violence for quite a while. But before I get into that, I got to tell you, get to restrictedrepublic.com. Right now, I have the best special that I have ever offered, $5 per month for 2 years. Use the code FREEDOM to get that. But I created this platform because of all the censorship that's happening on these alternative platforms. As you know, they've kicked off Project Veritas in addition to President Trump from a lot of these sites. You have to start moving over to these alternative platforms. And we don't have any commercials there, by the way, but check it out at restrictedrepublic.com. I do live stream events there as well. And get it right now for $5 for 24 months using that code FREEDOM. All right, so let's dive into the crazy history of Mad Maxine Waters, because something you need to first realize about this woman is she has been spouting rhetoric like this for many, many years. Here's a flashback to Maxine Waters, who promoted the Rodney King riots. Take a listen.
As I stand here, 9 people are dead. My last count this morning, before I tried to get some sleep, was over 50-something fires raging all over Los Angeles. The fires started in my district, and one of the largest was right around the corner from my house. There are scores of injuries and still anger and frustration, and people who plan on staying on the streets and expressing their outrage and anger in any way they deem necessary. Ooh. There are those who would like for me and others and all of us to tell people to go inside, to be peaceful, that they have to accept the verdict. I accept the responsibility of asking people not to endanger their lives. I am not asking people not to be angry. I am angry, and I have a right to that anger, and the people out there have a right to that anger. We don't want anybody killed. None of us believe in violence, but there are some angry people in America, and young black males in my district are feeling at this moment, if they could not get a conviction with the Rodney King video available to the jurors, that there can be no justice in America.
There is no justice in America if you don't fill in the blank. And people have a right to be angry. And she's really drawing a thin line here, but that's not her only rhetoric. Take a listen to this piece of rhetoric, which I've played a couple of times on Restricted Republic, but take a listen to a few of them.
You have members of your cabinet that have been booed out of restaurants, who have protesters taking up at their house, who's saying no peace, no sleep. No peace, no sleep. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere, right? That's what she said. And take a listen to this next clip here, which she talks about President Trump.
Wow, what a moving evening this is. I am sitting here listening, watching, absorbing, thinking about Ali, even though I never met him. And with this kind of inspiration, I will go and take Trump out tonight.
She's talking about beating up the president of the United States. Look at how happy that woman is. Look at her. Look at her. I will go and take Trump out tonight. Take Trump out tonight. And of course, this leads me to her latest statements. Now, I played this on yesterday's report, but I want to play it again because I want you to understand how more radical she gets with time, right? Here's this. Obviously, that wasn't as radical as the statement she made here, nor the statement that she made here, where she's calling people to refuse service to certain folks. That would be Trump and his cabinet members and his people. But here she gets even more extreme than before. And for those of you who watched it, I apologize, but we really, really need to pay attention to her words here.
And so,
because she means business.
I would like to see the bill in Congress pass on police reform, but I know that the right wing, racists are opposed to it, and I don't know.
She automatically calls out right wing and calls them racist. There is no grounds that because you're right of center, that makes you racist. None. That would be like saying every Republican on the planet is racist, but I digress.
Gonna happen to it. But I know this, we've got to stay in the street. And we've got to demand justice.
As a black man, despite all of the efforts, I feel like nothing changes. And George Floyd is waking so many people up. Yet nothing has happened despite the rhetoric. Like what needs to happen that's different this year than all the years before?
We're looking for a guilty verdict. We're looking
guilty
for
verdict.
A guilty verdict, and we're looking to see if all of the fault that took place and has been taking place after they saw what happened to George Floyd, if nothing does not happen, then we know that we've got to not only stay in the street, but we've got to fight for justice. But I am very hopeful, and I hope that we're going to get a verdict that will say guilty, guilty, guilty.
Guilty, guilty, guilty. And she says we're going to fight in the streets. Fight in the streets. Remember how they tried to pin President Trump in the impeachment because he said the word fight? So it's okay for her and the Democrats to use, but any Republican uses it, by golly. I mean, really? Really? Listen to the amount of rhetoric that she's saying here. If it's not found guilty, and she's going to expand on that even more in just a moment, she is threatening the jury pool. That's why the judge is so mad. She threatened the jury pool.
No, we cannot go away.
And not just manslaughter, right? I mean...
Oh, no, not manslaughter. No. This is guilty. For murder. I don't
Murder.
know if it's in the first degree, but as far as I'm concerned, it's first degree.
Congresswoman, what happens if we do not get what you just told? What should the people do? What should protesters on the street do?
I didn't hear you.
What happens?
What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
Woo, you better know that she means business. Right? But don't worry, right? This is a lady who's advocating for our police to be defunded, for our police to be dismantled. Meanwhile, here she is at the protest, and guess what? She came with her own police force. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of the woman. FoxNews.com. Waters requested police protection during her Minnesota trip, where she told protesters to get more confrontational. Oh, get more confrontational. I'm going to have my protection. But not you, the American people. Who suffers because of the defunding of the police? We do. Now, I'm just sidetracking here, but let's go back to the bottom line. And I've played the clip before, so I apologize if you guys watched it twice, but here's the thing. She is very, very radical with that statement. She should be removed from Congress immediately. Immediately. This isn't the first time the woman has come out. And you know what? All the Democrats that are backing her up on this, I think they should be removed as well, because you're literally saying it's okay to incite riots and violence. The very thing that you claim to remove Trump, attempt to remove Trump via impeachment for. Why? Because Trump said he wanted people to peacefully march. I didn't hear the word peaceful coming out of her mouth. Now, here's what happened as a result with the judge. This is very critical. CNNpolitics.com. Judge in Derek Chauvin's trial says Maxine Waters' comments may be grounds for appeal. Very recent article. And this is coming as we're still waiting on the decision from the jury trial, at least as I'm making this video. We still don't have a result as of yet. But the article says this: the judge overseeing former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's trial in the death of George Floyd, said on Monday that Maxine Waters' comments should be grounds for appealing a verdict in the trial. And I quote, "I'll give you that Congresswoman Waters may have given you something on appeal that may result in this whole trial being overturned." And that's what was said by Judge Peter Cahill, who told defense attorney Eric Nelson on Monday. The article goes on, the defense had moved for a mistrial Monday over recent publicity in the case, including TV shows and comments by Maxine Waters. Nelson noted that the trial had not only been in the news, but recently included 2 fictional TV shows and what he described as threats against the sanctity of the jury process by Waters over the weekend. Cahill said that he was aware of her comments about the unacceptability of anything less than a murder conviction and talk about being confrontational. Quote, "I wish elected officials would stop talking about the case, especially in a manner that is disrespectful to the rule of law and the judicial branch and our function," Cahill added later. "I'll think if we want to give their opinions, they should do so in a respectful way and in a manner that is consistent with their oath to the Constitution, to respect a co-equal branch of the government. Their failure to do so, I think, is abhorrent, but I don't think it's prejudiced with an additional material that would prejudice this jury," he said, adding that a congresswoman's opinion really doesn't matter a whole lot. In response, Water, leaving the House floor, told reporters that, "Well, the judge says that my words don't really matter." And when she was pressed later on the judge's comments that her remarks could be grounds for appeal, she goes, "Oh, no, they don't." Oh, yeah, because she's suddenly in charge of this jury. Is that how it works? Miss Mad Maxine Waters, who says suddenly her words don't matter? They matter, woman. They matter. You are in a part of our congressional leadership in the United States of America. This woman has some pretty violent rhetoric that she's been spouting over the years. And what does her Democrat posse do? Well, they support her in this. Here we go. FoxNews.com. Pelosi says Waters should not apologize for her confrontational remark. Claims that she wasn't inciting violence. Excuse me? You accused Trump, Pelosi, of inciting violence when he said to march peacefully and when he said the word fight. Maxine Waters uses the word fight and to confront and to hit the streets. And somehow that's not violent rhetoric. Go to hell. Here we have Breitbart.com, CNN Lemons. Waters shouldn't have made those comments, but she's not the issue here. He's trying to sidetrack, isn't he? And is saying truth about urgency of demonstrating. Then we also have another person here, Democrat Matthew Dowd. Waters is right. We should be more confrontational. What? Let's take... No comment. I don't have any comment for these people, right? This is the kind of crazy stuff that we are dealing with on a daily basis. Crazy, crazy people. Anyhow, please don't forget to check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com right now. They are giving away this Carson City uncirculated silver dollar here with any approved 401k or Roth IRA. If you've not converted it yet or started a 401k, then you need to, because as I have been desperately pleading with you over the past couple of years with the economy, make sure you have a diversified profile. Make sure that includes some kind of maybe gold, silver, precious metals, something of that nature. Give them a call and talk to them about it today and let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. And more information can be found on that in the description box. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning into the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.